We go. We get. It looks like a mug shot, but you're a good-looking guy. You can smile and make it look like a nice poster. You're the champion going into this now, and I know that the focus has been almost more on Keith Jardine, your opponent, because of his past. I guess in a way that's pretty good because you can kind of lay in the weeds a little bit.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. You know, I feel like I'm getting enough. Most of it's negative, I think, with Keith, but it's if anything, it's still positive because it's out there and it causes attention and it'll bring attention to the card. That's why I'm excited to fight Keith. He's a big fighter. He's got a pretty big following. A lot of people know he is, and beating him is going to give me that credibility.
Have you ever gone through a camp or fighting a big name like this? I mean, has it been different for you this time than in other fights? I know you're the champion, but now you're fighting a really high-profile guy.
It doesn't change training camp. Doesn't change me at all. Jacare is a pretty high-profile guy. He's pretty well known. He's multiple-time black belt world champion and one of the best in the world in fighting. So. It doesn't change anything in my mindset. I'm just focused on doing my job, keeping my belt, and moving on.
Seems like in his own way, he may be trying to get into your head with kind of the way he is with his attitude and so forth. But you're a guy. It looks like nothing's going to bother you. You have your eye on the prize. You know where you want to go.
Yeah. Nothing he's gonna say is gonna get in my head. I haven't heard much from him. He's a very quiet guy. It seems like he's very shy, and he just thinks his brawl mentality and his experience or something is gonna come and play a role in this fight. It's not. And if you see my fights, you saw my fight with Jacare. I came into that fight off a 19-month layoff and 8 fights in my career, and I went in there and I did my job. And it's gonna be like that every fight. I train with some of the best guys in the world at AK, and what I lack in experience, I gained through them. You know, all the veterans in my gym. So nothing's gonna faze me.
You're the type of guy. If anybody doesn't look like an MMA fighter, it's you. You look more like a guy. Maybe you'd be in I don't mean to be disrespectful. You look like you should be in a soap opera or something, be an actor or whatever. But have you gotten that from people before? Because you don't have the typical look of an MMA combat fighter.
Yeah, I mean, we come in different shapes and sizes these days. MMA fighters are different. I'm just gonna be who I am, and I love fighting. Fighting's what I live for. It's what I love. I've done a lot of sports and a lot of things in my life, and nothing gives me that rush and that feel, that natural high I get out of fighting. I'm a thrill seeker, and this is the biggest thrill I've ever felt. So this is for me. This is my thing. This is what I was meant to do.
What got you involved in it? I mean, who put the idea in your head or opened it up to you to be a fighter?
I think it was myself. I've had people tell me, but I've always had that fight in me. I've gotten into some fights growing up, and I was never the one to look for the fight and be the bully, but I was one I like to put bullies in their place, and I like to protect my friends in tough situations. So the fight instinct was always there, and I grew up wrestling and doing judo as a young kid. So I was in martial arts my whole life. I always knew I was tough, and so when it all escalated and I was doing general ed in college and whatnot, and I just didn't find a direction I wanted to go exactly, it was tough, and I always believed I wanted to be a professional athlete, and when I heard about fighting, making as much money as it did, I always knew about it, but when I saw it as a career, I jumped on it, and I never looked back.
Did you follow boxing at any point in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I followed boxing quite a bit, not too seriously, but I always watched the big fights back in the day when I was a young kid, Mike Tyson, Holyfield, and that was kind of my time. Before that, I've catched up on some of the older boxing and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm young, I'm 27, and I love boxing, and I love fighting. I was watching fighting when I was young. That's the thing. When I'm still young, so I was I was watching Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock, and then when I was 10 years old, or 12 years old or whatever it was,
right.
It was a while ago. So it's cool. It's cool to
at least you found what you wanted to do early, and that's great that you can follow out. And very few people can say they're doing really what they want to do. I think just you and I always wanted to interview people, and you wanted to fight, so it's a natural thing here. It's good if you're doing what you want to do. It makes it that much more enjoyable. Do you have a timetable for yourself, like to hold on to a title, to move up? Maybe you get a call up to the UFC, and a certain age that you want to get out of this sport?
I just take it as it comes. I want to be the best in the world. I'm not here to be second best. I want to fight the best guys in the world. Most of those guys are in the UFC, so I welcome those challengers, and I want those fights. Anderson Silva, they say he's only got 4 fights left. I want one of those 4 fights. It would be an honor to fight a guy like Anderson Silva, and that's what I want. So I want to work through whoever got to get through to get there, and I don't really want to focus on an ending in my career right now. I just it'd be nice to get out before I start getting the downhill. It's this wears on your body, and we'll just see. It's gonna be. I have to take it as it comes.
Well, listen, you've been doing great so far. I want to wish you all the best of luck and continued success to you. And I have a feeling we're going to see you matched up against some of these higher profile fighters, but you're getting a high profile yourself. So thanks for all you're giving to the sport.
Thank you very much. I guarantee it. You're going to see me there.